Hello, welcome back. We are going to continue with our pattern for this suit, and we're doing the back now. So we've already cut out the pieces that we want. So we're placing them on a new sheet of paper, and we're just going to mark around them on the new sheet of paper that we have, because these pieces are just our draft, and we arrive at these pieces from our block, our standard extended bodice block. So we're just going to come along there, and we're just going to put in the balance mark. We're putting these two marks here and the balance mark, and we're also going to just transfer the grain line on. That's the waist mark. We can put that in, and once we've got that on, we can now take away that shape. We don't need that anymore because we've got the new shape on here. So once we've got that, we put the grain line on, we can mark that on, and now all we do is just smooth up these lines here that we've got, put in our balance mark. These two notches here represent the back, so you won't get mixed up, you won't get confused. And here we go, we just add the seam allowance along the side like that, remembering we put an inch seam allowance on the hem line on this jacket, so that we can do, instead of stitching it, you can stitch it as well, but it'll be nicer if we do a felling. We hem it, we fell the hem on the jacket. It looks nicer. Well, to me it does. From experience, I know it does. And a quarter centimeter on the shoulder, and we come down these panels here with a centimeter as well, all the way down. We just follow it round, follow the shape around with the seam allowance, right along till we come to the bottom of the jacket like that. So those are a seam allowance around here. I just smooth them up so you can see the seam allowance that is allowed along there for stitching. So now this is your side. This is the side back. So I'm just going to write on there, put the grain line on, back, and we're going to cut. How many of those do you think we're going to cut? We're going to cut 2. Some people, they think, oh, cut 1. Oh, no, we've got, it's just a quarter of the pattern we're doing, so we want 2 of those for the back. So that is the side back we've written on there. So now we're going to do the same thing for the center back. So we place that on a new sheet of paper as well. I'm going to draw a straight line down here, so I can use that up there. So place that to the line, because that is my center back, and that's going to be on the fold because we haven't got a seam down the center back of this jacket. So you mark around from there, the neckline again, mark that all on, put your balance mark in, because they help you as you're going along where you want the waist, and also where you want these design pieces that we've got on here to finish. So once you've got that, you mark around, you move that away, you don't need that anymore. You've got that line in, you've got your balance mark in, and you've got where you want the pieces to be finishing on your back, because these are extended pieces that it's going to come out from the seam. So you need a notch there, which is that one. So once we've got that, once again, we add an 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches. You can add on there. You write on here center back fold, because this has got to be placed on the fold of the fabric, and then you just come up, put your seam allowance down here. I'll just draw that on, and then I'll finish it with just marking it on. See, over the years, you're able to just know that amount, you know, the seam allowances amount, and you can just mark it on, and that's just takes years of experience. Okay, so that is your seam allowance along there, and then you just measure seam allowance on the shoulders as well, and then round the neckline you follow that through, and you only need 1/4 of an inch along your neckline. Extend the line up a bit. So that is your center back, and then you're going to write on here center back, and you're going to cut one of those when it's on the fold. So that is your pattern piece for your, and then when you cut out everything, you cut out one piece first, and then you check to see that the seam allowances are matching up. So there you've got your front sections, and you've got your back, and you've got to remember, let me just do this while we're here, to add 1/4 of an inch down the center front, because that's going to have a facing on it, and you have to stitch the facing onto this piece. So we need to put a seam allowance down the front of a front there, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to show you how to do the facing for that. So these are the pieces that you need. You need the back and the front. It's got the seam allowances on, and you've got to cut the pieces out. You cut them out one at a time, and then you've got to check. If you cut this back piece out, you check that this line here fits this line, because that's what you've got to stitch. And then when you cut this piece out, you've got to check to see that the side seam matches this side seam, and you've got to check that this shoulder bit matches that one, because they're all going to join together. You've got to check that that shoulder joins to that one, and they're measuring and fitting the same. So those are the pieces that you need. So what I'm going to do now is to show you how to do the pattern piece for the pieces that we've got our design here that's going along here. That looks like this, and then we do the sleeve. So that's the next stage we're going to do. So that's one stage, and we're going to be coming back to you just to show you how to do those pieces here and the sleeve, and then we can go on to the skirts. See you soon. Bye.